What's up, friends? Hope you're well. And when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, there are a few things we know. We know that Afton is bad, Freddy Fazbear is good. If you want the game broken, you go to Astral Spliff, and if you want lore theories, you go to MatPat. That's what we're doing today. Welcome back, friends, and a special welcome to all the new friends out there. I'm YoBGS, and when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, we've learned a few things from Game Theory. One, we've learned that Gregory's sus. After all, we watch him go into the vents. We've learned that there's a secret Afton, and today we're gonna learn where Golden Freddy is in Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, assuming that is, of course, that Golden Freddy is somewhere. But I also feel like MatPat wouldn't have made a video on this if we didn't see Golden Freddy at least somewhere. We're starting out here. We've got Dr. Matrick Patrick, DFS, Doctor of Fazbear Studies there. And yeah, if you dig these videos, by the way, make sure to leave a sub. It helps the channel out more than you know. And we're branching into a lot of different stuff. More commentary stuff than reaction stuff. So if there's anything you want me to check out, make sure to leave a comment about it down below. Okay, here we go. See, I had to prep myself. I had to get ready to have my mind blown here.
Thanks for coming in, Freddy. I heard you got some new eyes recently. Just want to check to make sure that they're all functioning before we send you back out there on the stage. Tell me, what do you see here?
That is my friend Bonnie. I miss him.
Don't we all?
Aww.
Don't we all? How about this one?
It's me?
Interesting response with heavy lore implications. Gonna make a note of that one. All right, how about this last one?
Oh, that's the DJ, you know. DJ. No, hold on, don't help me, I have this.
Oh, wait a minute, I get it, because Freddy, like, in the game, didn't Freddy get banned from the dance floor for some reason? There's something about his programming that gets messed up when he when he hangs out there, so he doesn't know DJ Music Man. I love it.
This last one?
Oh, that's the DJ, you know. DJ. No, hold on, don't help me, I have this. DJ.
Come on, Freddy, it's obviously
Music Man!
There we go. Yeah, DJ Music Man. He's on the ones and twos, the washer dryer. You know, the mixing and mastering.
Music Man! Oh! Music Man! Music Man! Music Man! I called it! Music Man! Music Man! Oh! I was so close! Music Man!
Hello, Internet.
I'm amazed. Okay, so I said a couple minutes ago I was expecting to have my mind blown. It wasn't by that. I want to point out to the individual that made this. I know their name was in the thing. Oh no, I'm missing it, and I don't want to hear that again. Vaporwave is a perfectly acceptable form of music still in 2022, and it always needs more artists. So if you're looking for a genre that isn't a MatPat remix, that's just a suggestion.
Music Man!
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, where the only thing that slaps harder than our remixes is you slapping that subscribe button.
Word.
A huge thank you to Doofix from the Game Theorists subreddit for helping that meme achieve its true final form, and for letting me use it as a part of this video. As I write this, his masterpiece only has 400 views, so let's blow that channel up. Link is in the top line of the description. You know what to say. Fill up those comments. Let me hear ya. Music Man!
I don't know that I'm going to comment that, but I will go and I will subscribe. That is an interesting name.
Comments, let me hear ya. Music Man! As the man said in the song,
Let's go! Let's go! Go!
say what you will about Security Breach, and there's certainly a lot you can say about Security.
List of bugs I found in Security Breach. The Astral Spliff. Beaten in 3 minutes. Seen that before. I got soft locked. Yeah, that'll happen. Security Breach glitch number 2. Good morning. Soft lock myself. I done do a glitch. My goodness.
Security Breach. The fact that it launched this weird, unseen animatronic from Pizzeria Simulator into meme lord status is perhaps its greatest accomplishment. And speaking of other unseen animatronics, today's episode is actually a pair.
What happens? Okay, what happens if DJ Music Man gets rickrolled in Coconut Mall. Has anyone ever tried that? Just another suggestion.
Pair of mini theories all about two animatronics that are notably absent from this newest game. Characters that have been with us since the very beginning of the franchise, but whose 80s shoulder pads apparently weren't big enough for the final cut. And in a game that throws so much Freddy spaghetti against a lore wall to see what sticks, what gets excluded from the game is almost as interesting as what made
Eminem worries about mom's Freddy spaghetti.
final cut. So what are the mysteries surrounding these two animatronics?
One of them
Can
Foxy?
we solve the mysteries? And what do the solutions tell us about the lore of this new game? That, my loyal theorists, is what we aim to answer today.
That
Missing
feeling when I
animatronic
just
number
want to skip ahead because I'm like, just give me the answers.
one, Glamrock Bonnie. We all thought it was strange when the trailers first dropped and we saw our favorite animatronics in their new 80s getup. Freddy, Chica, Foxy, kind of, and
Okay.
No, that's an alligator. Yep, Montgomery Gator was in, and Bonnie the
Yeah, we don't have Bonnie, we have Monty. That's, almost a thing. If you can turn Foxy into Roxy, you can turn Bonnie into Monty.
was out. At first, I thought this was just gonna be a repeat of Sister Location. Introduce some new characters, reintroduce some old ones with new looks, and, just leave a couple out. But then, right outside of the daycare of Security Breach, we hear this.
There is no rabbit at the Mega Pizzaplex. Not anymore.
And that right there, my friends, is theory bait. Stick it on a fish hook and drop it in the water to reel me in. Clearly, this was more than just an arbitrary swapping of characters. There's a story here, a mystery to solve.
Although, see, I thought when he was talking about the rabbit, he wasn't talking about Bonnie. I thought he was talking about Vanny. Because Vanny dresses up like a bunny rabbit.
Glamrock Bonnie did exist at some point here in the Pizzaplex and now doesn't. And the game continues to remind us of this mystery as we explore them all. While trying to decommission Chica, you have to venture into Bonnie Bowl. And while we're up there, Freddy says this.
I do not come up here anymore. I miss him.
We even get a collectible message from Roxy Raceway that talks about him. Quote, management report, the bowling alley needs a re-theme. While most of the Bonnie art was removed, kids keep asking, where's Bonnie? Do we have an official approved response? So yeah, where is Bonnie? The kids want to know, and heck, I want to know what happened to everyone's favorite rabbit. Well, to answer that, we actually have to follow the other messages that we get in the Faz Watch.
Oh, okay. See, because, I don't know, it's weird, and I sit here, and I try and, theory craft on the spot while I'm listening to, what the official theory is gonna be, and it's odd, because this is a place where the animatronics can routinely deactivate their security protocol. Kids are going missing and people don't seem to really care about that. So what type of heinous act above and beyond everything else would merit Bonnie being taken away? And I almost feel like the problem is Bonnie was too good. Bonnie was more of a goody-good than Freddy was, which would make sense because Freddy says that they're both friends, but Bonnie was actually trying to alert some sort of authority figure about the missing kids, and then whatever conspiracy was going on at the Pizzaplex was we can't have that, we gotta get rid of it and pretend it was something horrible.
Specifically, this security alert found behind a locked Monty gate in the game.
Now, see, I always love these videos. You come up with your own theory, and then you find out immediately after why it's wrong.
Opening service tunnel. Quote, security report 12:24 a.m. Bonnie is seen leaving his green room in Rockstar Row heading east towards the atrium. 2:40 a.m. Bonnie enters the East Arcade. 4:12 a.m. Bonnie enters Monty Golf. Bonnie is wandering around the Pizzaplex and winds up in Monty Gator Golf. And see, this is an important detail because as we see in both the game and the collectible messages, Monty has a bit of a mean streak going on. He likes breaking things. He also has a bit of an ego. I don't know if you noticed, but the animatronics in this game are unusually human compared to the ones that we've seen previously.
Wait, so Bonnie might have gotten ripperinoed by Monty, which also is an interesting fact because then that means that Bonnie and Monty were around at the same time. It's not like Monty and Monty Golf came in as a thing as the re-theme for Bonnie Bowl.
Ego. I don't know if you noticed, but the animatronics in this game are unusually human compared to the ones that we've seen previously.
Which ties
they have
into the
personality,
first theory.
Emotion.
About
we see
they're
Roxy
human.
crying in her room because we've managed to escape her.
We should have found him by now. It's not fair. I'm not a loser.
Chica is just hungry all the time, and Monty wants to be the star.
Which honestly, by the way, makes Chica the most relatable character in the entire franchise. Dude, who's not just hungry all the time?
Looking for a way to rise to the role of leader of the band, singer in the spotlight. We know this thanks to hole number 9 of the Gator Golf minigame. Monty is center stage, and Freddy is left out in the dumpster. So when bass player Bonnie comes rolling into his domain late at night, Monty sees this as his opportunity to take him out and become the bass player himself. This is all fairly straightforward just from reading those collectible messages.
So wait, so Monty at that point was just was Monty like the roadie? Monty wasn't in the band until he put the hammer down, apparently.
Leave me wondering why. Why did Bonnie go to Monty Golf in the first place? Well, what if someone led Bonnie there so he would get destroyed? Monty would get what he wants, a more prominent role in the band, and Bonnie would be quietly decommissioned and turned to scrap. Scrap that could then be used to help rebuild another rabbit that we're all familiar with. One that's hiding out in the basement. Good old Burntrap Afton. You want to know where Glamrock Bonnie is? Right there, right in front of your face. Burntrap's body is Glamrock Bonnie's body. And I'm not just saying that because they're both rabbits, there's actually a couple more clues that pointed me in this direction. If we turn back to when we last saw Afton in the form of Scrap Trap during Pizzeria Simulator and Ultimate Custom Night, there were some interesting design details. Namely the fact that we can see a lot of bone underneath the suit. A lot of bone. Top of his skull, his jaw, around the eyes here, even the collarbone you can make out in his jump scare.
Which is also a very odd... Oh God, I just noticed the second. First of all, teeth are bones, right? So there's a lot of bones. There's a lot of bones. And yeah, so why would he need bones? If he, dude, I don't know, man. Afton creeps me
Here
out.
in Security Breach, Afton has basically got a whole new body. As Scrap Trap, he was made primarily of bone and muscle, but now he's almost entirely animatronic, with the exception of the weird fleshy tendons that entangle the endoskeleton, as well as the skull, which now appears to be melted into the rabbit face. But we see loads of endoskeletons throughout Security Breach. We even hear Vanessa saying that they could just put old casings onto new endos if they need to.
Monty will run the shows until parts and service can slap your casing on a new endo.
So why then am I so sure that Burntrap uses Bonnie's endo when they could have used any other endoskeleton? It all comes down to the hands. They make a big point in the trailers to reveal this mechanical hand with claws at the end of its fingers, and they put emphasis on it again during Afton's ending when
See, this is why I need to spoil things more for myself. Like, I don't watch the trailers because I want to legitimately be excited when the game itself comes out, and then I'm like, oh, all this lore was in the trailer that I didn't see. That feeling when you walk into a test and you realize you didn't actually read the book.
His hand reaches outside the recharge station. On both occasions, the focus is on Afton's left hand. A hand that was completely missing from Scrap Trap in both FNAF 6 and Ultimate Custom Night. I mean, technically he was missing that entire left arm, but you get the point. So what does any of this have to do with Bonnie? That could be any endoskeleton arm, right? Wrong. Take a look at the Glamrock endoskeletons from this game. Their hands? Yep, they don't have claws. The only animatronic whose endoskeleton does have claws? Montgomery Gator. We actually get a really good look at his hands once we've decommissioned him. But hold on a minute, I was saying that Burntrap was made from Bonnie.
I was just
so
about to
why am I so focused on Monty? Well, we have to go back to the messages that we get on our Faz watch. Down in parts and services, we get this maintenance log. Quote, Montgomery's claw upgrades allow him to play the bass. Following performances, he mostly uses them to cause damage.
So that would mean that the previous bassist also had claws in order to effectively play the bass, which would be...
Before I read this message, Monty having claws didn't really strike me as an odd design detail. I mean, the dude's an alligator. Kinda makes sense. But this message made me reevaluate that opinion. Claws are only for animatronics that play the bass. When we get the message about Bonnie being out of commission, we get this line, quote, with Bonnie out of commission, we are making Monty the new bass player.
Yep.
Parts and service have already done the proper adjustments, end quote. They're installing the claws on Monty because he's becoming the bass player, which means that Bonnie before him must have also had claws. They need to be built into the endoskeleton because they have to pluck the heavier strings. Therefore, the claws on Afton's new body prove that they could have only come from a single source, Glamrock Bonnie.
But why? Okay, so then, it's interesting the things that they choose to make progress notes about, right? They choose, so you mean to tell me they made a progress note about the fact that Bonnie's walking around. They made a progress note about the fact that Monty is the new bass player. But they don't make a progress note about Bonnie's dead? And now I guess I guess in hindsight, the theory could be, right, Afton or Vanny or whatever is in there tampering with the system, deleting the records that are so on the nose that they would lead anybody to know what's going on. I'm sure that's entirely possible, but like, it's just funny that they leave in these sort of tongue-in-cheek things. They leave in the breadcrumbs, but they don't leave in the obvious thing. Like if you're at work and one of the major pieces of equipment at your place of business is destroyed, like a crane operator. If they come to work and their crane's destroyed, they're not just gonna be like, began commissioning new crane for vaguely established reasons.
But Glamrock Bonnie isn't the only one conspicuously missing from the Security Breach lineup. Where is everyone's favorite yellow clickbait, Golden Freddy? At first, I didn't think too much about his absence. Last we saw old Yellow Fredbear, he was twitching away at the end of Ultimate Custom Night, keeping the spirit of Afton trapped in an endless purgatory of torment. Meanwhile, you got Old Man Consequences over here asking Cassidy, "You good, bro?" and encouraging them to leave the demon to his demons. So
honestly, it is interesting if you look at some of the older, I guess I don't know that this is an older design, but I always looked at this head as like the modeled after the Afton head. Just, it's a different like jawline, but the same. It's hard to explain, but that seems very much like it decayed into
Last we saw old Yellow
Afton.
Fredbear, he was
Not
twitching
this.
away at the end of
This is
Ultimate
fluffy
Custom
and
Night,
cute.
keeping the spirit of Afton trapped in an endless purgatory of torment. Meanwhile, you got Old Man Consequences over here asking Cassidy, "You good, bro?" and encouraging them to leave the demon to his demons. So, yep, that story seemed largely done. Cassidy,
However,
aka the one you should not have killed, aka the vengeful spirit, call the kid whatever you want, this was another playing piece off the lore table. The end of another character arc. So why would Cassidy appear in Security Breach? Doesn't seem necessary. But then it was more Freddy spaghetti time. Security Breach once again threw everything it had at the wall to see what stuck. And I do mean everything they had.
ugh, so much of this stuff is gruesome. All the pieces of the like mechanical Freddy resistance, just that thing creeps me out. That's weird. I don't mind the plushies. I don't mind the wall art. I don't even mind Vanny that much. The weird ice cream with the disembodied head that doesn't get to enjoy ice cream because it has no digestive system. Like, even that doesn't bother me.
Basically, everyone and everything in the series up to this point is represented somewhere in this game. FNAF 1 animatronics, FNAF 2 animatronics, tons of references to FNAF 4, a direct connection back to FNAF 6, there's Baby, there's the puppet, there's the fun times. If my theories up to this point have been correct too, you also get Crying Child, Michael, and Elizabeth, the Aftons all in one neat little package. And that's still not all. The arcade cabinets reference everything from the original novel trilogy to the Fazbear Fright stories. Heck, in this one game, you get not only one, but two, count them, two versions of William Afton, Glitch Trap and Burntrap. You have
Glitch Trap in Vanny's head. Okay, so of course we've got the arsonist kink and we've got the furry kink. So that, you know, that's pretty much, if that doesn't wrap up an entire story right there, I don't know what does.
Pretty much all the important characters throughout the franchise. So in a title that seemingly references every other important corner of FNAF lore, where's our golden boy Freddy? Well, he's there. He's hiding in plain sight, right here, inside the Princess Quest arcade games. The princess is, quite literally, Golden Freddy. Or, to be entirely accurate, it's actually the spirit of Cassidy inside the arcade game.
Why does Cassidy have to be so creepy? Like, on it, I mean,
it seems crazy.
I know, right? Five Nights at Freddy's, YoBGS, Five Nights at Freddy's. Nice to meet you. Anyway.
Easy, right? And while I could try to bury the lead here and string this whole thing out, I'm not. There's just too much to talk about. We know that this is Golden Freddy because it's coming straight out of the horse's mouth. I guess it's the sheep's mouth because it's Steel Wool Studios. Anyway, if you dive into the game files, there's a character sprite folder labeled Cassidy. Open it up and what do you find? The princess. Now, I gotta be honest, that alone didn't convince me. Sure, it is a huge deal, and obviously the golden color of the princess is a direct connection back to everyone's favorite
yellow. That also feels so obvious. I don't know, like, this, for the kinds of things that MatPat has to do to get to the conclusions that he gets to, The fact that they folder Golden Freddy, and then it's just a guy, you're like, wait a minute,
But
what?
this is also a series that's used the name Jeremy in like, what, at least 4 separate places? Is that right? 4? He's a missing children's incident kid. He sliced his face off in FNAF VR with a paper cutter. He's a security guard from the FNAF 2 paychecks, and oh yeah, he's in the latest Fazbear Frights book. So
Maybe
yeah,
they
those
just
are the
like
4
Pearl
instances
Jam.
that I can just remember off the top of my head. So forgive me if I'm in need of a bit more proof here before I call this one confirmed. So I kept digging. First, it's worth noting that in a previous theory, I suspected that the princess was actually meant to be a stand-in for Vanessa. You see, Security Breach isn't the first time that we've actually seen the Princess Quest minigame. It originated as part of the mobile port for FNAF VR when they needed some way of telling Vanessa's story. Instead of finding 16 glitching cassette tapes like you did in the original FNAF VR, the mobile port has you playing Princess Quest 1, lighting 16 braziers to eventually find the lair of Glitch Trap. Interestingly,
Because we've all played FNAF VR and FNAF VR Mobile, right? Am I right, guys? We all do that.
Digging through that game's files reveals that the princess character wasn't labeled as Cassidy. This is a new thing for Security Breach, which
Dude, I'm so, oh my god, like, and then this is meta to the entire thing, but I'm like, I always thought, like, I'm a fan of Five Nights. Like, if there's stuff all around here from Five Nights, there's a giant, you can't see it, but there's a giant Freddy Fazbear just off screen, and like, then I hear this stuff, and I'm like, oh, I have never played this franchise. I don't know anything about this franchise.
tells me that this was also an important story element for them. A story that, now that we have all 3 Princess Quest games to look at, suddenly takes on a different meaning. When you play Princess Quest 1, you're being hunted down by black glitchy rabbit creatures. These things are clearly working for Glitch Trap, but if that's the case, why would he be sending them to attack you? If the princess is truly meant to be a stand-in for Vanessa finding the tapes, wouldn't he want Vanessa to find them so she comes under his control? Rabbits attacking doesn't make sense. However, if we consider the Golden Princess to instead be Cassidy, back from the dead once more to try and stop William for good, then of course, Billy Afton would do everything he can to stop the princess. I
Seems
also
legit
think that
so
each
far.
Princess Quest represents a different phase of Cassidy's experience quite nicely. In the first one, Cassidy is helpless, an innocent, helpless child lured to a back room and killed by a monster that looms in the shadows. But by Princess Quest 3, the princess is fighting back. And not just fighting back, but doing it in the same location that we walk through in FNAF VR. Notice the large central stage, the prize corner back behind us.
I didn't notice that going through, but it is a very, that's so weird. It does go from like a mystical place to literally just like, ooh, and there's little plushies down here. We got a Chica, Bonnie, and Freddy, it looks like.
Rounded side stage to the left. Now, this is an important detail because as we see at the end of FNAF VR, we're playing in the location of the missing children's incident. Glitch Trap lures us to the back room only to shove our dead body into Freddy's suit while he dances around. This is Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where the initial 5 kids, including Cassidy, first went missing. Cassidy's story truly comes full circle. Playing through Princess Quest 3 the first time, I also thought it was unusual to have a giant Chica face looming in the background watching us.
What the hell? Again, just like things I didn't notice.
Like, why? Seriously, why? You don't just do that for decoration. And then I remembered this line from Ultimate Custom Night.
I was the first. I have seen everything.
I was the first. I have seen everything. This means that Susie, the spirit inside of Chica, saw the deaths of everyone else.
Okay, so I remember, I know Susie. Susie is from the game in Pizzeria Simulator. But when did Susie become the spirit in Chica? Like, how did I Dude, that feeling when you blink and like you forget to go to class one day and then all of a sudden you might as well be at a completely different school.
Meaning that she was probably watching as Cassidy was killed. Hence why she, of all the characters, would be the one watching us in this moment. So the file name matches, the color matches, the narrative arc makes sense as we revisit important locations from Cassidy's past, but that's not all. Elsewhere in the files, there's another piece of glitch text, similar to the text that we originally saw when you approach Glitch Trap in Princess Quest 1, but this time it's much shorter. It'd be hard to decipher if we hadn't just decoded Afton's text before, but we did. And using that code, we're able to translate these dots as "it's me," the iconic phrase.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, he's gonna explain it. I love when I just like have to stop to completely explain the joke beforehand.
We've seen every time Golden Freddy has been present throughout the series. Last but not least, Cassidy being here just makes sense with the story. Whenever there's
it kind of sucks because that's unsatisfying, right? Like, it's unsatisfying because you want that big moment. Now, obviously, they've delved through enough of the game's code that if there was some way to spawn a Golden Freddy or a Golden Freddy jump scare, some big Golden Freddy thing. By the way, Mr. Hippo, severely underrated. Just want to point that out. But anyway, if there was some big thing about Golden Freddy in the game's code, we would know it by now, you know? So we it's one of those things where we sort of have to make our own fun, draw our own conclusions, and this one's so good, but it's so unsatisfying, right? You want it to be like, again, there's a way to get Golden Freddy out of Princess Quest, right? Golden Freddy takes his laser eyes and just destroys everything, but you know, apart from mods, that's not going to be happening anytime soon.
Cassidy is close behind, hence the whole vengeful part of Vengeful Spirit. This is something that we actually see in the Fazbear Frights books, specifically the story The Man in Room 1280. In this story, we get a ruined, burned William Afton dying on a bed, haunted by an angry spirit named Andrew with curly black hair wearing an alligator mask. This very clearly is meant to be the book stand-in for Cassidy. In a previous story—
no, that's Monty. Hello? Haunting William Afton, alligator mask.
Wearing an alligator mask.
Wait, what else do you need? This dude then died of Afton when Afton's walking down the street and he does that like blah, 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 thing in what is that? That's not Sister Location. Pizzeria Simulator. No. Right? You know what I'm talking about. I think it's Ultimate Custom Night. The blah, 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 blah. He did the blah, blah, blah into this guy and then became Monty. That's clearly a good theory.
Very clearly is meant to be the book stand-in for Cassidy. In a previous story, Andrew outright says, quote, "I do remember wanting to get back at someone who hurt me. I think I attached myself to him. I got into his soul, made sure he couldn't move on when he should have died. I remember I wanted him to suffer the way he made me suffer." Basically—
Bro, that's like my ex-wife to never mind. That's inappropriate. Not here. Not for. She's not even a public figure. That's so rude.
The two are inseparable. Andrew grafted himself onto Afton, and now their souls are mixed. So consider this: Glitch Trap was created when a bunch of circuit boards were scanned into a system to create a video game.
They sent us that stuff in the first place with no explanation. It was just junk, circuit boards and things like that. Somehow, though, there was usable code on some of it.
If Cassidy was truly attached to Afton, then Cassidy's spirit would also likely be in those circuit boards, thereby creating a digital version of her, aka the princess. So yeah, I feel pretty darn confident that that is indeed Cassidy in Princess Quest. Everything I could find backs it up from a design, timeline, narrative sense. Also, the file name suggests that the king is actually Old Man Consequences. Sure, I guess. Leave the demon to his demons. Unless, of course, you want to take my sword and go ham on him. Anyway, so what does it all mean? Why is this important at all? Well, it gives us a rationale for why playing some random arcade games somehow manages to free Vanessa from Glitch Trap's control. As a reminder, if you play all 3 Princess Quest games, you get the free Vanny ending, where she turns good and joins you eating symbolic ice cream cones. But really, it's a pretty weird logical leap that playing a few random arcade games somehow gets this young woman free of the virus that's infected her brain. But now, it makes a bit more sense. At the end of Princess Quest 3, we confront a large security door that's covered in purple goo, only to get a blood-curdling scream. That goo tells us that it's Glitch Trap behind the door. It even has a glowing set of eyes on the left-hand side, which, if you squint, kinda looks like a rabbit head.
What? No, it doesn't. Oh, yes, it does. There's ears up here. I'll be darned. And everyone knows rabbits are hollow.
Which, if you squint, kinda looks like a rabbit head. This kind of goo wasn't present in the identical door within Help Wanted, implying that he is now in control. So when Cassidy unlocks the door and goes in, the digital scream that we hear from the other side is Glitch Trap dying, crying out as Cassidy delivers the killing blow and maybe, hopefully, finally, putting both of their souls to rest. Security Breach to me has
Although, wouldn't we... So then could the argument be here... In this, maybe over here, this is a tombstone that would have said Cassidy. Why is there a butterfly on the Jeremy tombstone? Just pointing that out because he pointed out the significances of the Jeremy, and if we're to believe that nothing is ever by accident, this would be significant.
Both of their souls to rest. Security Breach to me has been this story about endings. Throughout all of my Security Breach theories thus far, we focused heavily on the idea of characters coming full circle, giving closure to them and ending their parts within the FNAF storyline.
Which almost feels desperately like MatPat wants to be done with all of this, right? He's like, can we just... Because MatPat is the guy who is almost, it seems like, tasked with coming up with the connective tissue, right? He's the veins, the William Afton veins in the arms that are somehow making everything be held together. And every time they come up with a new installment in the series and just blurt more stuff out there, he's like, all right, I gotta come in, I gotta clean up everything that you've just tossed on the floor. And now he's like, see, now MatPat is the crying kid. He's like, please make it come to an end so that I can say that I did all of this.
The crying child and the missing children got their closure back in FNAF 3's Happiest Day. Henry and the puppet got their closure in the FNAF 6 ending. If I'm right about my theories, then the rebuilt Afton kids get their closure on the hillside eating ice cream here in Security Breach. And now Cassidy. While all the other dead kids of the series have been able to move on, Cassidy has always remained, always trying to chase Afton down, torturing him in purgatory for what he's done, so driven by anger and revenge that she couldn't let go. So this feels like a great ending to this chapter of the series. Finally, Cassidy gets to join the others and rest, putting aside their agony and putting an end to the Golden Freddy arc, and hopefully to Afton's arc as well. But there's still one more-
right there, this is a perfect example. I mean, I guess, right, like the bunny ears would mean the two aren't similar, but I see greater similarities in these than I do Bonnie and Afton.
Or that's incomplete. One more series of secrets in this game that we haven't talked about yet. Tune in next FNAF episode as we wrap up our coverage for Security Breach by talking
there's
about
one
the most
more
controversial and frustrating part of it, the retro CDs, the mysterious Patient 46, and what all of that has to do with the theories that we've covered so far. So bite of 87 that subscribe button to ensure that you don't miss it. And as always, remember, it's just a theory. A game theory.
Wait a minute, what was this meme here?
It's just a theory.
Okay,
that's
that's incredibly accurate.
Thanks for
there.
Watching.
Let's
So
see, do we
me
get
and a
anything
bunch of
after
other
the
FNAF
juicy-
theorists.
The big FNAF Theorist live stream. I saw this. I saw the ad for this, and I feel like that's gonna be really cool. It's something I might have to check out as well. But like, dude, the lore is so convoluted, and like I said, I've been diving into a lot more of Astral Spliff's stuff on my own time, and when you just look at how broken this game is, but it's the two, right? It's like the masks, you know, of tragedy and comedy. You see them in like theaters, the smiley and the frowny. The smiley is the lore side of things, all this beautiful lore, all this amazing plot, you know, full circle developments and theories and Easter eggs and all this cool stuff. And then there's the frowny mask that is this horribly broken mess of a game. Like, it's almost that parallel is almost to me a sign of the series itself, right? The series is sort of, the gameplay is breaking down as time goes on, but the lore is staying, the spirits are staying just as strong as ever while the bodies are breaking down. I know, it's not nearly, it feels weird, right? You watch a MatPat video, then you throw a theory out even half joking, you're like, man, I'm dumb. This is nothing close to what was just put out in front of me. But my brain is sufficiently broken for this video. If your brain is broken as well, if you liked hanging out here, please make sure to subscribe. You know, if this video gets some love, we're gonna have to check out the greatest lore video when it comes out. In the meantime, my friends, as always, take care, and I will see you for the Salty Runback.